Barclays Bank reported net earnings of $70 million for the 2018 fiscal year. Net interest income came in at about $219 million, but that was pretty flat compared to 2017, with an increase of just 1%. Not a surprise there. Non-interest income closed out the year 15% higher at about $97 million. Like some of the banks in the same peer group, Barclays took the plunge into mobile lending in 2018 with a product called Timiza. Last year, $100 million was lent through that app. I spoke about the bank's mobile strategy at length with the firm's CFO, Yusuf Omari, earlier today. But I started by asking him for his assessment of 2018 as a business year.
We've seen quite a number of, bills, legislation being introduced. We've seen the taxman coming for the banks in terms of, charging for the non-funded income, the fees that we're doing.
Yeah.
And then tied to that, of course, there's this push on bringing down, the lending rate. Mm-hmm. And for sure in 2018, we saw the CBR, which is the central bank reference rate, coming down by about 100 basis points.
Yeah.
So by that in itself, was quite challenging for the industry. And then it was the first year that we adopted, the International Financial Reporting Standards, IFRS 9, mm-hmm. which of course had an impact on our capital because the day one had to go through results.
I'm really curious about your mobile business because I believe end of first quarter last year, you had about 300,000 or so clients on the mobile platform. But by the end of the year, 3 million people, 10 billion shillings lent out. That's about $100 or so million, give or take. Why in the first place did Barclays decide to move into that space? Because that's more fintech than, traditional bread and butter banking.
Yeah. One reason is simply because it's an area that, in the past we used to get challenged mm-hmm. in terms of having to service that sector profitably, mm-hmm. And profitably means basically efficiently. Mm-hmm. So for us to be able to get into that, it meant significant investments. So if you think about Timiza, it's purely an investment. It's, call it, a digital bank. And once you have a digital bank, these customers, the 3 million customers, they don't have to come to your branches. It takes them within a very few seconds, for them to be able to be onboarded, which means opening a digital account. And then with linkages with the credit reference bureaus, mm-hmm. Linkages with our partners in the mobile, in the telco companies, you're able to get the credit history of this individual.
Yeah.
And because of that, then you can be able to lend. Mm-hmm. So it makes it easy. That's why we decided we have to get into this sector. And at the same time, also, if I look at traditionally, Barclays has always been, seen like an A-list bank.
Yeah.
But right now we are changing that. With our strategy, we want to reach out even to the mass market because we can be able to do it profitably.
If you've gone from 300,000 to 3 million clients in the span of about 9 months, give or take, what's the forecast for 2019 as far as customer numbers and, of course, lending targets and deposit targets are concerned?
Yeah. We had, we had a target of doing 5 million customers over a 5-year period. So clearly that is it's changing. We are
You've blown that one out of the water.
We are pressing reset because we've done 3 million customers in 1 year. Mm-hmm. So our ambition, we will try. We want to see whether we can be able to hit that 5 million mark this year, mm-hmm. which basically means we are 3 years ahead of your, of your strategic, targets that you had put. But then, of course, that market is quite huge. Mm-hmm. It could go all the way to 20 million customers. But for this point in time, we are looking to try and see whether we can hit the 5 million.
Looking forward, though, because there's a lot of players not directly competing with you in the sense that they're traditional banks, but you've got very different players in that space. You've got on one end the Safaricoms of this world with mobile money offerings, and that, of course, comes in tied in with savings products and lending products from your competitors like CBA. But on the other end of the equation, you also have these tiny fintech startups, your branches, your Talers, and so on and so forth. If you're playing within this space, what is it that makes a traditional bank a better option, or rather a strong competitor within that spectrum of products?
Yeah, I think the key differentiator, which we are already running with that, is to make sure that you're not making these digital banking, like a one service to the customers. So it's not just about giving loans. Mm-hmm. want to introduce quite a number of other products in there. There's some which we've already done. So in terms of it becoming, a channel for attracting deposits, we can be able to do that, or we are already doing that. We are now starting to sell insurance using the same platform. If you think about the penetration of insurance in this country, it's very, very low. So we see other opportunities, coming through that.